This video is designed to give a brief introduction to the Teaching Excellence and Student Outcomes framework, known as TEF for short, to people that are new to the TEF. This video is the first in a series we're producing to support students and higher education providers with Year 4 of the TEF. The first batch of videos will be available online in mid-November. We're then running 2 face-to-face events in late November focused on writing provider submissions, so we'll incorporate any topics and questions arising from those into the writing provider submissions video and publish it in December. The final video will be published next year to support communication teams in the run-up to the publication of TEF outcomes. We're also publishing a separate series of videos to support the TEF second subject pilot, and those are aimed at the higher education providers participating in the subject level pilot, but they are available to everyone via the Office for Students website from late November. We published TEF Year 4 procedural guidance on the 22nd of October. It updates, supplements and should be read alongside the TEF specification, which was published by the Department for Education in October 2017. The videos are designed to highlight key information from the guidance in an easy-to-access format that you can pick and choose from, but they don't provide definitive guidance. For definitive guidance, please see the procedural guidance and specification documents. Links to the documentation are provided on this slide and again at the end of the video. So what is the TEF for? The TEF was introduced by the Department for Education in England in 2016 to better inform students' choices about what and where to study, to raise esteem for teaching, to recognise and reward excellent teaching, and to better meet the needs of employers, business, industry and the professions. Universities, colleges and other higher education providers from across the UK can take part on a voluntary basis. Participating providers receive a gold, silver or bronze award reflecting the judgment of a panel of student representatives, academic peers and experts on how well that provider delivers teaching, learning and outcomes for its students. A provider taking part in the TEF is awarded a TEF Gold Award for delivering consistently outstanding teaching, learning and outcomes for all its students, silver for provision that consistently exceeds national quality requirements, a bronze award for meeting national quality requirements, and provisional awards are made to providers that meet national quality requirements but don't yet have sufficient data to be fully assessed for a gold, silver or bronze award. This is a summary of the TEF awards held by providers to date across the UK education sector. 298 UK higher education providers currently hold a TEF Year 2 or TEF Year 3 award. That's awards made in June 2017 and June 2018. You can find a full list of TEF awards on the TEF Outcomes website. See the link at the bottom of the screen. As well as the rating and the award duration for each provider, we publish the TEF Metrics Workbook, the provider's written submission, and a short statement of findings that explains the panel decision for each participating provider. So how are TEF assessments made? TEF assesses quality over and above the existing quality assurance arrangements and adopts a broad definition of teaching excellence. Assessments are made against 10 criteria which cover 3 aspects of quality: teaching quality, learning environment and student outcomes. It's a process of independent peer review. Assessments are made by an independent panel of experts that include academics, student representatives, widening participation experts and employment experts from a wide range of providers, subject areas and locations. This is a high-level summary of the assessment framework. The second video in this series describes the assessment process in more detail. There are 2 main sources of evidence the panel looks at when making decisions: metrics and a submission. Firstly, the TEF metrics are a numerical measure of a provider's performance which draw on nationally collected data sources. Secondly, the provider submission is a narrative document written by providers as part of their TEF application to give additional evidence against the criteria. The metrics are compiled centrally by the Office for Students and distributed to providers to help inform their applications at the start of the application window. The submissions, written by providers and submitted to the Office for Students, are an opportunity for providers to explain qualitatively their context and performance. Assessors and panel members start by looking at the metrics, and then they take into account the additional evidence included in the provider submission, and then they form a holistic judgment based on the totality of the evidence as to whether a provider should receive a gold, silver or bronze award. To date, the TEF has operated at a provider level, which means that it assesses the teaching excellence and student outcomes across a university or college. We know, however, that most students choose their subject first and then choose between universities and colleges offering that subject, and the government has committed to introducing TEF at subject level from the academic year 2019-20. Subject level TEF will produce subject level ratings and a provider level rating for each provider. TEF Year 4 is the last cycle of provider level TEF. This slide shows the phase development and implementation of TEF. The first subject pilot happened last year, and the second subject pilot is running in parallel to TEF Year 4. Findings from the pilot will feed into the independent review of TEF, which will help inform the final design of subject TEF from 2019. If you'd like to know more about subject level TEF, you can find supporting documents and videos on the TEF pages of the OFS website. For guidance and the rest of the video series for TEF Year 4 or the TEF subject level pilot, please see the Office for Students web pages. For inquiries about participation in TEF Year 4 or the subject level pilot, please contact the TEF team at the Office for Students. For inquiries about TEF metrics in the TEF extranet, please contact the TEF metrics team at the Office for Students. And for queries about TEF policy, please contact the Department for Education. All the links are shown on the screen. You may reuse the content of this video under the terms of the Open Government Licence. If you adapt the slides, though, you should be aware that the content can't be used in a way that suggests the OFS endorses you or the use of the information. Thank you very much for listening.